boom in wheelbarrows and a boom in this because people were dumping their dollars as fast as possible. So if you look at what's going on in the U.S. economy today, people are saving money, saving money, saving money, saving money, which is absolutely the worst thing you can do. So that's why the events in Dallas, again, are important and Phoenix are important, because the vast majority of people, number one, they think the crisis is over, and number two is they're saving money. They said when that crisis hits, when they finally realize that your dollars are worth nothing, or the yen, or the peso, or the pound, or the euro, that's when people panic and the prices of gold go through the roof and all this. So history does have a tendency to repeat. I'm not saying it will repeat exactly the same, but we're at the point of no return right now. Now this is the last thing I want to say. It was in 1914 to 1923, approximately 9 years. That was a period of actual kind of euphoria, and then the lights went on to people. They said, oh my God, this economy is shot. They had gone past the point of no return. So that was 1924. In 1933, a man named Adolf Hitler came to power. And that is what happens historically throughout time. You've read my book, Conspiracy of the Rich. Every time the economy collapses, despots or dictators or those kinds of guys appear. So that was Hitler, that was Mao Zedong, it was also Napoleon. And these are the people that appear. And the thing they try and do next, and this is what's probably going to happen next, because Obama's already doing it, they're going to try and impose more controls to keep the economy from crashing. So, you know, Nixon tried it. They call it wage and price controls. And the moment they do that, the economy is in very bad shape. So people say, well, Obama's not really doing that yet. Well, he already is in many ways, and I like Mr. Obama, but he's already doing what those other guys did before. They start taking control. So Obama has now nationalized General Motors, the auto industry. They've nationalized the banking industry. They're probably going to nationalize the airline industry. They've nationalized the medical industry. They've already nationalized education. And that's what happens when economies start to come apart. It's the socialist government type control people. The people think they can control the world start taking over. And that leads to only two things, or three things, should I say. One is fascism, socialism, or communism. So that's kind of where we are today. I'm not saying either one will happen, but I can already see the indications of it happening as I speak to you today. So that was my message. Again, I think the events in Dallas and Phoenix are very, very important. It's what do you do next? How do you profit instead of getting wiped out from this crisis? But as I said, I think we're past the point of no return. It will not be long before people realize their money is worthless, and they're going to start bidding up real estate prices once again. They're going to start rushing back into the markets, which is really what the big central banks want people to do. So in closing, this was great. This is a great little pamphlet. It'll be available for those who attend the 3-day with us. But it's why Austrian economics matters. I'm not endorsing the philosophy, but I wasn't very good at it, but one of my favorite subjects in school was economics. And I would say the Austrian School of Economics is more important, except they're not in power today. The people that are in power today are Keynesian economists, people who believe that you can print money and save the economy. These guys, I would say, I subscribe more to the Austrian school. So you can find out more about the Austrian School of Economics. Just they have great educational programs. Wait, excuse me. www.mises.org. And please go and read them. This is a great pamphlet. If you don't come into the 3-day event, please get this pamphlet. I think it'll explain why there's been a battle of economic theory and why I think this is the better one, except that Keynesian economic theory is more in power today. And these are kind of the macroeconomics of what's going on in the world. This is what I study, but it's by studying the economic philosophies is how I see the future and figure out what I'm going to do. As I've often said, you know, stupid to try and change the government. It's easier to change yourself. So I thank you all for listening. So my announcement to you is we've now passed the point of no return. And I hate to say this, but I think that what has happened before will happen again, which will be people will start dumping the dollars, exactly as Michael Maloney says. Probably gold and silver will go through the roof. You know, anything of tangible value will go through the roof. And then people with driving wheelbarrows will suddenly say the wheelbarrow is more important than the money, or it'll be like the Zimbabwe. So this is the article I recommended people reading. It says Greenspan, who was, for those who may not know, the Federal Reserve Chairman of the United States before Bernanke. And he says I was wrong 30% of the time. And this is the April 8th, my birthday, 2010 issue of USA Today. But I think it's kind of funny, the newspaper takes a jab at him and says, you know, if you're wrong 30% of the time, that makes you a C student, which is kind of funny. But this is the line I think that's really quite important for people to understand. And it's Greenspan blames Fannie and Freddie. And as we're going to talk about at the 3-day event here in Phoenix, gold versus the dollar, is that's exactly what Richard Duncan has been saying for years, is that the U.S. government has lost, or the Federal Reserve Bank has lost control. And the Federal Reserve Bank has more power than the president. So this is quite important, as Fannie and Freddie, which are not government agencies, they're just backed up by the government, have more power right now, and they took the whole subprime mess out of control. But this is why this event is so important, is simply because it says here, he also said, this is Greenspan, regulators almost certainly will be unable to prevent future financial crises. That's the most important line in this whole article. He's making excuses, he's blaming this, he's blaming that. But this is the reason this event is so important, gold versus the US dollar, is that now Bernanke, the Fed chairman, or the president have no control over the world economy. So I'll repeat it again. Greenspan, he also said regulators almost certainly will be unable to prevent future financial crises. That's the thing. We're now out of control. We're now at the point of no return. So that's why your financial education and being vigilant is more important than ever before. Thank you very much.